Emma couldn't wait to get to college. A fresh start away from her parents' rules and whatnot. A chance to go out there and start her own life on her terms was just too good to be true, and she couldn't wait. The dorm room smelled like a fresh paint, and there was a faint hint of the previous tenants left behind. Emma stood in the middle of the room and just took it all in. Her parents and little sister had just left, and she looked at the boxes scattered about, and for the first time in her life, Emma was completely alone, and she loved it. She grabbed her phone and decided to go down to the common room to see if she could meet some people and make friends. Emma was the type of person that could make friends wherever she went, and it didn't take long before everyone knew Emma, and she knew everyone. On Friday afternoon, Lindsay, a senior, cornered Emma in the cafeteria. "Emma, you're coming to the party tonight, right? Every new semester starts with a blowout. It's tradition. You have to come." Emma didn't need much convincing, and by 10 p.m., she was standing in a crowded room with a red solo cup in hand and the bass of the music vibrating her chest. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, and she found herself laughing with people whose names she'd only learned an hour ago. Sometime after midnight, after the crowd had thinned out, Lindsay appeared with a mischievous grin on her face holding an old wooden box. "I found this at an antique store before semester," she says, setting the box on a coffee table. Everyone knew what it was before she even opened it. Inside was a Ouija board, its planchette laying there menacingly. A few groaned, while others chuckled, with someone saying, "Are you serious?" "Oh, come on," Lindsay teased. "It's just for shits and giggles. What's the worst that can happen? We all end up like those horror movies being chased by some evil ghost," she says, laughing while looking around. For the first time tonight, Emma hesitated. The first flicker of doubt makes her skin crawl, and she wraps her arms around her. But when Lindsay gives her a pleading look and a couple of others chime in, she gives in. "All right, fine," Emma says while sitting cross-legged under the coffee table. "If any ghosts do show up, I'm blaming you all." The group settles around the board and begin. At first, it was a joke with silly questions being asked, like, "Who's going to fail their first exam?" And "Does Lindsay have a crush on Robert?" The planchette moves smoothly, while everyone laughs, accusing one another of pushing it. But then Emma feels a creep chill up her spine. The air grows heavier, and the laughter quiets down. Lindsay looks around at the others. "What's your name?" she asks. The planchette trembles and slides to the letters S-A-M. "Sam?" Emma asks, her voice barely a whisper. The planchette jerks to yes. "What do you want?" someone else asks, their tone more serious now. The planchette moves faster this time as it spells Y-O-U. A nervous laugh breaks the tension as someone says, "Okay, very funny." Everyone starts to stand and get ready to leave, but Emma couldn't tear her eyes away from the board. She felt glued to the spot. But then the candles flicker violently, and with a gust of wind that comes from nowhere, the room goes dark. It all happens at once, the room plunging into darkness, the music cutting off mid-song, and everyone standing there with a collective gasp. Then, complete silence, a silence that was suffocating. Then someone in the room gives a nervous laugh while saying in a low voice, "I guess the ghost doesn't like party games." Lindsay waves her hand and with an annoyed look says, "Power probably went out," though she didn't sound convinced. She fumbles for her phone and turns on the flashlight. Its beam illuminates the Ouija board, and Emma couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. "Okay, party's over," Lindsay says, slapping the board back into the box. One by one, people leave, muttering excuses about getting home or homework to catch up on. Emma lingers by the front door, unease clinging to her like a second skin. "Well, that was interesting," Lindsay says, walking her out. "But it's just a game. Don't let it freak you out." Emma nods, but her stomach is in knots. As she walks back to her dorm, she can't shake the feeling that something or someone is following her. Emma was exhausted after the party and just threw herself on the bed after washing her face. As she lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, she hears a faint whisper. At first, it was so quiet she thought it was the wind outside, but then she hears it right by her ear. She sits up, heart racing as she looks around the room. Empty. There's nothing but the soft sound of her roommate's breathing. Just my imagination, Emma whispers to herself as she pulls the blanket over her shoulder and lays back down. But she just can't shake the feeling that she's being watched from the shadows of the room. As morning breaks, Emma dismisses the sounds of the night as a tipsy dream. But as the day wears on, little things begin to pile up, like textbooks not being where she left them, a cup of coffee sliding across the table when she turns her back, and her phone reappearing on a different side of the computer when she knew she placed it on the other side. Her friends noticed her odd behavior and start asking if everything was okay. She tells them she's fine, but deep down, is she really? It wasn't but a week after the party that Emma truly started to doubt her sanity. She was in the bathroom drying her face after washing up when she happens to look in the mirror. She caught a shadow walking by the door, but when she turned, the room was empty. Her pulse quickened as she looks back into the mirror. The lights above her flicker and her breathing hitches. "Calm down," she says to herself, gripping the sink. You're just tired." But as she opens her eyes, the shadow was there again, this time right behind her. A girl about her age with pale skin and disheveled hair, and eyes filled with a rage that sent shivers down Emma's back. Emma screams and stumbles back and falls to the floor. But the girl was gone, nowhere to be seen. Emma stumbles back to her room and locks the door behind her. She stands there with her head against the door, her breathing coming in shallow gasps as she tries to calm herself. "Girl, you're just tired, okay?" she whispers to herself. Emma climbs into bed and pulls the cover over herself and wills herself to sleep. The room was deathly quiet except for the low hum of her roommate's fan. Emma wakes up during the night to an unnatural stillness in the room. Her eyes open and she freezes. The girl from the bathroom looms over her, eyes staring right at Emma. Emma tries to scream, but no sound comes out. She can't move and she can barely breathe. The girl leans closer to Emma and then disappears into her. Emma tries to scream as it feels like ice water flooding her veins. Her body jerks violently as she gasps for air. And then, nothing. Emma opens her eyes as she lies in bed. Her body feels foreign, as though she was a puppet and not in control. She gets up, her movements uncoordinated. She walks down the hall to the showers and sees Abby, a senior she only knew by name. Abby was known to be the resident troublemaker, always needing to be in control, always targeting the shy girls and making life hell for them. Emma watches Abby turn the shower and close the door as she gets in. Steam fills the room. Emma's eyes glaze over and a creepy grin forms on her face as she says, "It's your turn, bitch." With a piercing scream, Abby stumbles back as the shower sprays boiling water on her. She tries to open the door, but it doesn't budge. For several minutes, the water burns Abby, and after what felt like forever, the door opens and Abby falls onto the floor, with scald marks all over her body. Emma turns and walks back to her room and lays back in bed. The news of Abby's accident spreads quickly throughout the campus, twisting and turning in the rumor mill until it was unrecognizable. Abby had been burned in a freak accident, they said. Abby slipped in the shower and accidentally turned the hot water hotter. Emma kept her head down and avoided the whispers. She had a feeling she knew what happened, but she couldn't bring herself to admit she'd been possessed. The girl had used her to get Abby. But why? That night, Emma decided to research why she was possessed. She stayed up late going through forums about Ouija boards, hauntings, and possessions. Most sounded ridiculous, but one post caught her eye. The post said, "Sometimes ghosts possess others in order to attack those that have wronged them in life. These entities can be vengeful in their quest to settle old scores." Emma's stomach turned. Was Abby the ghost's target? What did she do to her? In Emma's search, she came across a local news article about a girl named Samantha who had attended the same college 3 years ago. The photo made Emma's heart stop. The girl was the same girl Emma saw standing behind her in the bathroom mirror. The article was chilling. During her freshman year, Samantha was rumored to have been harassed by some classmates, which ultimately pushed her over the edge. Emma felt sick. It was Samantha's spirit that was using her to take revenge on those that tormented her. Emma went to bed but could not get to sleep. She woke up the next morning to another rumor of someone else getting hurt overnight. This time, another girl named Emily was found at the bottom of the stairs with both her legs broken. Emma was left wondering, did the ghost use her again during the night and she just couldn't remember? This is bad, Emma whispers to herself. Real bad. Emma went to the library after classes in an attempt to figure out how to stop Samantha from hurting anyone else. Emma knew that Samantha would not stop until she finished whatever plan she had. But Emma wasn't about to let it go that far. If Samantha's ghost wanted revenge, there had to be a way to stop her and help her find peace. Emma's fingers flew across the keyboard searching for anything that might help. Any articles about hauntings, vengeful ghosts, and Ouija encounters. It wasn't until her fourth forum that Emma finally found something useful. The post stated, "Vengeful ghosts often stay around because of unfinished business. Resolving this business can help them move on, but it's not always easy. You need to find what they're holding on to in order to help them find peace." Emma leans back in her chair, staring at the words. What unfinished business can Samantha have? Was it justice for the people who tormented her? Acknowledgement of her pain? Emma scrolls down further. The post continues. Be careful. Engaging with the ghosts can make them stronger. If they feel threatened, they may lash out. Emma swallows hard. Samantha was dangerous enough. But there's no choice. I have to do this. Over the next few days, Emma starts digging deeper into Samantha's life. The picture starts becoming clear. Samantha had been quiet, reserved, and a target for cruel jokes. A specific name kept popping up in the forums. Lindsay. Emma's stomach turned. How could this be? Lindsay. She never struck me as the type to harass others. But the articles named Lindsay as being the ringleader of the group that had tormented Sam. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Abby's and the other incident was just a warning, and that Lindsay was a true target. She had to act fast. Late one night, Emma returned to the same forum where she'd read about the vengeful ghosts and created a post describing her situation. A reply came within minutes. If the spirit is tied to a person, then you need to confront that connection. It's the only way to give the spirit what it wants. But be prepared, the spirit won't go easily. Emma's fingers tremble as she types a reply. What if it's someone who doesn't want to acknowledge what happened? What if they deny it? The reply came quickly. Then it's up to you to make them acknowledge it. But be careful. Vengeful spirits won't forgive easily. Emma knew what she had to do. But how was she going to approach Lindsay and make her confront what she did? All we could hope for was that Sam would see even a shred of remorse from Lindsay, and maybe then it would be enough for her to move on. Emma closed her eyes and whispers to herself, her voice steady. I'll end this, one way or another. The next day, after classes let out, Emma finds herself standing outside the cafe where Lindsay worked. The afternoon sun seemed to mock the darkness that had consumed Emma's life over the last few weeks. Emma had rehearsed this moment in her head 100 times, but now that she stood there, her confidence faltered. What if Lindsay denies everything? Or worse, what if Samantha makes her move before Emma could even speak? Emma takes a deep breath and pushes the door open. Lindsay looks up from the counter and smiles when she sees Emma. Hey girl, what's up? Emma's voice shakes a bit and her hands start to tremble. We need to talk. It's about Sam. The color drains from Lindsay's face. She looks around nervously before nodding towards a booth, and with a shaky voice she says, Okay. As we sit down, Emma wastes no time. I know what happened. Sam didn't just leave college. She was driven out. By you. Lindsay's hands clench into fists. You don't know what you're talking about. Like hell I do, Emma shoots back. You and your friends humiliated her, tormented her, and now she's back. She's not haunting me. She's coming after you. Lindsay's eyes whitened, and for a moment Emma thought she might deny everything. But instead her voice breaks. She hated me, Lindsay whispers. I didn't mean for those things to go that far. We were We were freshmen. We were stupid. I never actually thought she'd... Actually what? Emma asks. Lindsay's voice breaks as tears fills her eyes. You know. The air in the cafe shifts. A shadow flickers in the corner, unnoticed by Lindsay. But Emma saw it. Samantha was here. Emma leans closer. You need to take responsibility. Sam needs to hear it. She needs to know you're sorry. Lindsay started to cry. I don't know what to say. Emma looks at her. Say the truth. A shadow begins to shift by the booth, growing darker and darker until it seems to fold in on itself. A sudden gust of air sweeps through the cafe, and Emma sees Sam for the first time, but not as a ghost, but as the girl she had once been. She looks at Lindsay. I'm sorry, Sam, for everything. I was cruel and stupid, and didn't think about how much I was hurting you. If I could take it all back, I would. I'm sorry you didn't feel like you had any other way out. I'm so sorry. The room grew still. Both girls held their breath, waiting for something to happen. Samantha's eyes filled with tears, and there was no anger in them now. She looks at Lindsay, then at Emma, and gave a small nod, and then she was gone. Lindsay sat in stunned silence, her body shaking. Is she at peace now? Emma nods. Yes, she's at peace now. So what happens next? Lindsay asks. Emma didn't have an answer. The haunting was over, but the scars it left behind would take time to heal. As Emma walked out of the cafe, she feels a strange mix of relief and sadness. Sam's pain had been finally acknowledged, but it had come at a cost. Still, Emma vowed to remember this. Even in the darkest moments, the truth has the power to bring light. A few weeks later, Emma sat by the campus fountain, watching the water ripple in the soft afternoon breeze. The world moved on around her, students laughing, walking to class, making future plans. Yet, she couldn't shake the memory of everything that had happened. Sam's story wasn't just a haunting. It was about pain, silence, and the toll harassment takes. Emma thought about how easily cruelty could hide behind the excuse of just joking or I'm just playing. Sam had been a person with dreams, fears, and feelings, and her suffering had been invisible until it was too late. Emma pulled out her journal that she started when the haunting began. On the page she wrote, Our actions leave marks, even when we can't see them. Be kind. You never know who might need it the most. As Emma closes the book, she stands up and starts toward her next class. Life wasn't perfect, but it moves on. And this time, she would carry Sam's story with her as a reminder that every living thing deserves kindness. It's never too late to choose compassion over hostility. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's story. Reaching a point in life where you venture out on your own can feel overwhelming, especially if you don't have a supportive circle of people who accept you, flaws and all. So if you notice someone who's often alone, try to be the light that guides them through a tough time. Don't be the reason they lose their smile or joy. Sometimes a simple smile is all it takes to brighten someone's day. I'll see you guys in the next one.